And we're rolling. What's going on? My name is Ugo Opara, PA licensed real estate agent and investor with Tesla Realty Group. Made a change and with a different broker now. But still same old me, same old me. Just wanted to try something different and take on new opportunities. But yeah. So in this video, I wanted to talk about how to analyze a deal. And for this video, we're only talking about flips. We're only talking about flips. A lot of you guys on my channel and that call me, a lot of you guys are buying to do flips. You know what I mean? I'm a buy and hold. You know what I mean? Not to say that I won't ever do a flip, but my definition of freedom is, I have maybe 10 properties and they bring in $1,000 a month, and I pay maybe $1,000 to a property management company that manages all of that, and now I'm chilling with wifey and kids or whatever the case may be, in like Hawaii, banking $9,000 a month from not doing anything, or maybe 800 because you always want to save a reserve, so. Maybe I'm banking 7 grand, $7,000 a month off of doing nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm still able to work if I wanted to. You know what I mean? Now, once I'm in that position, then I'll do flips, and then the flips is just lump sum. The flip is just whatever the case may be. But until I get to that level, I'm not a big fan of flips. Um, but there's definitely value in them. Just because I'm not a fan of flips doesn't mean that you shouldn't be a fan of flips. Flips are fantastic. In fact, on my real estate business, like as a real estate agent, all my clients, they do fix and flips, and I'm the guy that puts it on the market, gets it staged, gets it sold. You know what I mean? It flips inevitably feed me and keep me going. Um, but for me, as a real estate agent, I can hustle in that lane and make 20, 30 grand a month versus having to do a flip and then waiting 3, 4, 5 months to make that 20, 30 grand a month. That's just where I'm at right now. And for my portfolio, I'm building that portfolio so I don't have to worry about what happens on my lane as a real estate agent because it's super rocky. February, I'll go from making 20 in January to like nothing in February. And then I'll make 10 in March, and then maybe only 5 in April, and then another 20 in May. Like it's just like this. If I can have um, the rental income kind of baseline me, then the dips won't matter because I always know like, well, there's just a threshold. But anyways, enough about me. Let's get into this video. I think it's very helpful. And then there's a couple of other things that I'm going to do. I'm going to do a video on how to do the scope of work. I'm going to go into detail on that because that's a very important one. Scope of work, project management, phases and expectations, detailed invoices, bonuses and repercussions. All that, like this little last section, I'm going to go over it briefly, but there's so much more in my mind. That is the most important thing. Running the numbers is nothing, getting the financing is nothing, but actually executing properly with the right contractors and everything like that, and making sure we get to where we got to get to, where we got to get it at, and then the quality we got to get it at. That is, for me, that is my favorite part because that's where you get to control what happens. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Um, and then for me to do this, we're gonna go into trend. And as if you're not a real estate agent, you're not gonna have access to trends. So you're just gonna go on Redfin and look for things, or you can reach out to a realtor and have that realtor put you on like an auto drip, and just to see what's going on. What are just put you on an auto drip based on what you're looking for, so you can see what's going on and what's of interest and what property hits the market and da 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 da. So I actually set myself up on one. So I got my, potential flips, 3 bedrooms, certain square feet, certain price point. This is what I look for. So I'm gonna walk y'all through some of this one's already gone. This is already this so this is active, no showings. It's probably gonna be gone. But would it have made a good deal? Yeah. Now I already know 60/30. Now I already know this area, right? So I already know that what this is gonna hit for. This is something that once completely renovated could go for close to 200,000. So if I'm buying this and doing $100,000 worth of work in it, it's a go. We're good to go. But that's not my typical flip. You know what I mean? Something like this is more so my typical flip. 60,000. Um, And I'm broke right now, right? I got Uncle Sam a lot of money, so I'm chilling on the sidelines. That's why I'm actually showing y'all live deals that I would actually pull the trigger on. So something like this is a go. I'm a big fan of that. This is also a go. Big fan of that. 55th Street, also a go. Let me just see what area I like the most. I know these areas very well. This one's near Mercy. Is it a one? It's not a one-way. It's a two-way. Parking on both sides. See, I know my streets. This building has been here forever. It's a laundromat. Yeah, it's the cleaners. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of this property. 5744. Okay, so this is something that I would be interested in. You know what I mean? It's in my area. It's what I like to do. It needs a lot of work. Um, they don't have a lot of pitches. So is it radiator heat? What we got? Newark is, so it's radiator heat. So let's just run with this one and let's go with it, right? So what I would then do is you could run the comps on it. So I would go in here for me as a, and again, this is tough. I'm a real estate agent, so but I just want y'all to understand how the numbers work, and then maybe I'll do another video of how to go through this real quick if you're not a real estate agent. But for me, I'll go for pending and also settled. It's a 4 bedroom, so we'll do 3. And then I'm really looking for something 135 or more, so I'll put that price point out there. And I don't like to go, yeah, Philly is very tight knit. So for Philadelphia, I don't ever go more than a quarter of a mile, right? Because now you're in a whole different neighborhood, different area. Philly's very tight knit, so that's more than enough. I got 9 properties that are coming up, and the lowest is 139. So I'm already feeling comfortable with what's going on. Conestoga Street, this one sold 3 to so March 22nd of this year, which is fantastic. We're only maybe a month, 30 days plus out from when it's sold. Let's check it out. It's not even a complete. I mean, it looks decent. The floors look decent. There's more staging, radiator heat. So, kitchen's not even massive. You know what I mean? So that's good. That's good for me. Square feet is smaller than the property I'm looking at. We got 16 versus 12, so it's a plus. Cedar Avenue. This one's under contract. It's a 5 bedroom though. We only got a 4, but I'm pretty sure that they finished their basement because it's only but so much that you can do in these little Philly houses. And we with the central area, they got the exposed brick. Bathroom is lit. They put the washer and dryer in there. That's the basement. What is that? Gotta go see the house. But this is 200, you know what I mean? And they got central air. So central air is probably worth at least 20,000. So that puts me at 180. And then um or 179. And then so I think if I had a similar property like this, and it's a 4 bedroom, 1.5 bath, and this one has an unfinished basement, so that's even better. Then that means that I would probably come in at 179 because I wouldn't add central air and I wouldn't have, or maybe just 170 because I wouldn't add central air and I wouldn't, maybe even 160. I wouldn't add central air and I wouldn't do um, the 5th bedroom, right? So that's a good comp, right? So now in my mind, I'm thinking 160. And then this one comes up 3 bedroom, 1.5 bath. It's at 53rd. I'm at 55th. So 2 blocks up, does that make a difference in Philly? Yeah, it makes a big difference, right? Remember I said I'm only going 0.25 out. But let's look at it. What we got going on. This is staged nicely. The floors look great. Recessed lights. This is standard. So that means I cannot not do granite. Cannot not do granite. We gotta do granite. I like the little cutout. That's cool. I hate staircases that go like this, so if you ever go to one of my flips, you'll understand that I'm going to take this staircase going this way and make it go this way because it messes up with what you can do with your living room. But again, look at that. That's the radiators, right? A lot of people aren't caring about central air anymore, and I don't blame them. I'm not a fan of central air. So I try to stay away from putting that in if I possibly can and making it nicer. Remember, now I was at 160. This is at 189. So that means I could probably come up closer to 170 now because this is a lot smaller. What got this house sold was the area. Yeah, this is definitely in the area. So, and I want to just take a peek and see what they bought it for. There's no records of, there's no records of what they bought it for. But that's a good comp. Let me go back. It's definitely a good comp. We got another one. This is on 56th Avenue. I'm on 55th, so I'm actually not too far from this property. I could walk to this property from my property. Like the dark floors, like the little gray, the recessed lights. I like that they have a little front porch area. They have it open. Typically, there's like a stained window here. They took that out. That may be a good thing, may be a bad thing, because typically you want some type of separation between the patio and where you're at. But you know, looks like they insulated it properly, so who knows? Kitchen, though, I mean, this looks good. You know, this looks good. I love the little pendant lights. You know what I mean? I don't like the one. I like the ones where they're dangled. I will say I'm not a fan of the kitchen. The kitchen that I'm really a fan of is more so this type of full flushed, you know, taking advantage of all the space that you possibly can with the lights and everything. This is more of my speed, and I'm not too much of a fan of how this kitchen over here looks. It's just plain, you know what I mean? You don't have the recessed lights. I'm a big fan of the runway lights where you're doing the recessed lights and you're running it all the way down. This doesn't really have that. It's very, in fact, it looks dark, right? You can see in the pictures the light is on, but it just looks very dark in there. And even when you go with these Einstein light bulbs, they're more for a cosmetic like decor type feel, not really meant for. Even though they light, they're very low, like glowy light versus the recessed lights or the runway lights that are made for lit lighting. So this one, I would definitely put the cabinet lighting on top above the cabinets or leaving under cabinet lighting, something to kind of brighten it up because it looked dark. You know, in this picture it looks a little bit better, but it looked dark. Yeah, this one even looks dark as well. But all I care about is the price. We got 209, so I'm still very comfortable with my number at a buck 70. Even though this one got central air, it's a lot smaller. 3 bedroom, 2.5, two full, you know, bathrooms everywhere. And the basement is finished on this one. Go back. Basement's finished on this one. Finished basement. Let's see what the basement look like. Got a deck in the back, gangster. So there's value in this, absolutely. So I'm gonna keep my butt at 170. It means there's a $40,000 difference between this property and not between this property and my property. And the thing that would be going for me is it's a bigger, 1600, 160, 600 square feet versus 1300 square feet. But they did a lot more with their square feet than I did. So, meh, 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 meh. Still a good comp though. I like that number. 155, ridiculously small, right? They got one bed, they got a 3 bedroom, one bath. They do have central air. Uh, don't think the basement is finished. So they went, they went. The selling point for this house is they went high end. These are LED lights. You never have to change them. However, I think they made a mistake. What I do on my units is I always do a ceiling fan or LED lights and then recessed lights. 3 recessed lights. You'll see one, two, three, four recessed lights, and then you'll see a ceiling fan with LED lights in the middle as well. I think there's a lot of wasted. That's not really, like this light fixture isn't really beneficial to the person that has it. You know what I mean? Granted, they're central air, but you always want to take advantage of it. And this is cool. This is actually a all-in-one dishwasher. I mean, all-in-one washer and dryer. And this one was from IKEA. Shout out to my homie that works at IKEA. Yeah, that's an all-in-one dishwasher, which is great. It's a convenient place to put it. Probably because the rest of the house is so small, you couldn't find anywhere else to put it. I think that's a great use of space. It's a tight kitchen, but it works. You have no dining room. They did the best they could with this, and I'm very glad that they got 155. But I know that my unit is almost 580 square feet bigger than that, and they're at 155 versus 170. The monthly payments wouldn't be too different, so I'm very confident in my property, especially if I'm able to fit in another powder room on the first floor. It'll be a 4 bedroom, 1.5 bath, going for 170, or a 3 bedroom, one bath, very small, even though it has central air, going for 155. Monthly payment might be a box of pizza, $20 or $20, $30 more. People are gonna go with my property. So I don't think this is really a good comp. I'm gonna skip it. 169, 3 bedroom, 3 bedroom, one full bath, two full baths, 1224, has a central air, finished basement, has a full basement. Let's check it out. It's a master bath. Carpet on the second floor. I believe in that. They got a finished basement. I think one of the things right now that I need to think about is, am I going to get in there and finish the basement? Who knows? But this is a good comp. Again, this is my sweet spot, 170. Um, Now the trade-off here is, do you want a bigger space? If you need that fourth bedroom, will you give up the central air for it? You know, that's the question that we're at right now. 138, not a good comp. It's 1,600 square feet, but what doesn't look like they did anything to it. Yeah, they didn't do anything to it. I wouldn't really count this as a I wouldn't really count that as a comp. I wouldn't really count this as a comp. So let's move on to the next one. 225 Walton. This is right where this is in, this is a see recessed lights, very bright, pretty basic. The tile, always go with 99-cent tile. I don't get any fancier than that. All new flooring, I love it. Flooring is expensive as hell. I only do hardwood on the first floor, and then carpet everywhere else. I'll do new subfloors, make sure the joists are dope. What I don't do, I don't do the tile all the way around the property. Only thing I tile is the bathtub. Take it all the way up to the ceiling, and that's it. So what, so here's I don't do that. Rooms look smaller. Rooms look smaller. Bet they got the finished basement. And where they at? 245. That's high as hell, I think. But it's sold in 10 days. I don't think that's a good comp. I'd be playing myself to think that I can get that. And that's the only one that we've seen above that price range. And we got 50 for Catherine Street. This house looks very busy. This is a lived-in type thing, you know what I mean? It looks great. It shows well, don't get me wrong. But definitely something that's lived in. Basement's not finished. And they got this for 170. Huh. 54 from Catherine. 55th. This is closer to me. So now I have a lot of confidence. This is at a $150 with not much done to it. I think I could definitely squeeze out that $170. I think I could definitely squeeze out that $170. So now I did my comps, right? Now we got to run backwards. We got to run it backwards. So let's go and do what's called the seller's net sheet. Actually, no, let's start over here. Do what's called the seller's net sheet, and let's get jiggy with it, right? This is the owner of the property right now. We're gonna switch it up, put my name, or we'll do a, I don't know, fake company LLC. Let's play on words. Philly fake. There we go. Philly fake. Philly flips LLC. There we go. Philly flips LLC. Okay, so settlement date. If I bought this thing, we probably will go settlement in May, and we have June, July, to get it done renovations wise. August it'll hit the market. It'll probably sell by end of September, right? Sell price, y'all know what I want to do, 170. You already know what I'm really gonna do, 169,900, bang. First mortgage is gonna be what I bought it for, so we'll do 50, 58. They're at 57, hopefully I can get it for like May 50. So first mortgage would be 50. And then the second mortgage would be the renovation amount, so probably 60,000, probably going renovations. I always factor in to give out some type of seller's assist. And then transfer tax, I pay the full transfer tax. I pay 4.1. A lot of people don't like that I do that, but keep in mind that I'm coming in paying transfer tax and I'm coming out paying transfer tax. And the easiest way for me to do it is to just figure it out. Use and occupancy is $110. Home warranty, I always try to give out a home warranty. I might do staging. Let's do staging. But a lot of times I have my own furniture, you know what I mean? I'll go to like what are these places? I'll go to like Ross. There's another one I can't think of. I'll go to Ross. All these little outlets, TJ Maxx, things like that. So it might only cost me 1,500. And this is as you're starting up, right? As you're starting up, you want to start budgeting to go and actually buy furniture and then, use it for one flip, and then use it for the next flip, things like that. You keep using it. So when I started, I would at least put 2 grand, go to Ross and just ball out, get as much stuff as I can. And instead of trying to do the whole house, I always try and make sure at least the first floor was done. So maybe the kitchen, maybe if sometimes I could only do the living room, then I could do living room, dining room, then I'll do living room, dining room, kitchen. And now I'm at living room, dining room, kitchen, and I typically will stage the bedroom and then maybe an office space. So let's do 2,000 for that. Um, you're going to be paying points and fees. So, if I'm doing this renovation and 160 is the ARV times 0.65, I'm going to get into this a lot more. 104, so that I would probably have to bring 10 grand or something like that. 10, yeah, probably like 10 grand. I'm a real estate agent, so I save on the commission, so I don't have to pay. I list my own properties, and that's it. I don't have a broker fee, but I'm gonna leave it in there because if you're selling with an agent, you're most likely gonna have some type of broker fee. Right now, on average, it's 4.95. Some people are crazy; they'll charge you 7.95. Some people I don't think are charging enough. They're charging like 199 or 195. 4.95 is where you should be paying the agent on top of the commission to make sure that everything's taken care of properly. So this is what it looks like for me when I go to sell this property. Um, and there's a lot of generosity in here. I'm giving a home warranty. I'm giving 3% assist. Um, I didn't pay back. Probably got points I got to pay back. So on the 104, if I got 3 points, then let's do 3 points. It's probably going to be the 3,000. We're going to round it up to 4,000 just to keep it where it's at. Cool. Sorry about that. So we're back. We got the 3 points. Points. Someone's always going to charge points. You can't get away from charging points unless you're doing private money. We're not going to talk about that. We're just going to do hard money. We're running into it, and then that's what we're doing. So 3 points. This is the 4 grand. So all in all, this looks like I'm gonna walk away with $35,000, right? I don't really care about the three or whatever. Looks like I'm gonna walk away with $35,000, right? And some of y'all might go cheap. Some of y'all might go cheap and do only a 2.5 commission. Or maybe I might go cheap and do a 2.5 commission out to my. Actually, I shouldn't even do this. I should be doing the full six because if I'm trying to be you guys, then I got to set the right expectation. 6% is the normal commission. Unless you have your real estate license, then you can list it yourself. But we're assuming you don't have your real estate license, and we're going to go with the 6%. That's just what you got to pay. So let's go back to make sure I'm on track. Uncle Sam wants a 30% minimum, right? So in this deal, right, we got to come and look at it and say, all right, we got 30,000. If Uncle Sam wants 30%, then you're only keeping 7, so you're gonna make $21,000 off this flip. You know what I mean? So, and it could be more, like it could be way more. Like if I choose not to give any assist, if I choose not to give any assist and I drop my commission and you work with an agent, like, a lot of times for my people, if you're someone where you're doing 3 properties a year with me, 3, 4, 5, I have no problem dropping my commission to 2.5, or I'll even drop it to 2, put 3 up for the other agent, whatever the case may be. That'll put more money in your pocket. Now you up 37. So now we go back, we do 37 times the point 7 is what you're keeping, 25,000. You know what I mean? So you got $25,000 that you made off this flip. Everything else is paid off. This is what you keep. Uncle Sam is gonna take the rest. You know what I mean? And you get to go, right? So for me, this works out. Let's go back and look at the numbers. Cost for how you're financing the project. We did the points, monthly payments, interest only payments. You're only gonna do, well, yeah. Let's go back. So let's say you do interest only payments, right? Let's say the interest on something like this 15, let's say 12%, and you're only making payments. You're probably going to hold this property for 3 months, 3 month hold, and maybe in that 3 month you're paying, I don't know, $500 a month. So let's call it 2 grand or something like that. Or let's say you're paying 700 a month and you hold it for 4 months. Let me go back. Let's hold it for 4 months. 4 times 7 is 28. You got 28, 34. At 34 times a point 0.7 brings you out to $23,000. So you walk away with $23,000, and that's dope, right? Good thing about flips is, like, I know people with master's degrees that you know, that if you do 3 flips in 1 year, you making what it will cost you, you know what I mean? And that's not saying you're not working your job now. You could still be work. I know a guy right now, he is like maybe 2 or 3 flips a year, and he's an accountant. He's an accountant, meaning he's out there already making 60,000, 70,000, and then he's doing these flips on the side. And the flips are making him another 40, $60,000 a year. You know what I mean? So he bought a house last year, bought another house this year, and now we're under contract on an apartment building, a triplex, because he wants to, start diversifying, you know what I mean, still do the flips from not getting that rental. So he's doing things that I really enjoy. There's another lady, she's a nurse, you know what I mean, she does 1 flip a year, and then she takes that money, buys a rental property. All she buys is her triplexes and quads, you know what I mean, chip off the old block. And that's what she does. And her goal is to buy as many of these little, 3 to 4 units as she possibly can until it replaces what she does as a nurse. And that doesn't mean she stops working as a nurse, because she really likes what she does. But then she'll go back and start paying each one off really deep discount, really paying a big chunk of those mortgages off, increasing how much cash flow she gets, and just kind of doing things like that. And I think that's great. What I love about real estate is there's so many ways to dice the cake. And the reason I do these videos is because so many people get stuck in the getting started process. That's not the most important part. Go out there, do a deal, take my videos and kind of sidestep the headaches that I forgot to sidestep with, getting in trouble with Uncle Sam because I forgot to account for 30% on the 30%, and then looking back and being like, dang, I did 3 flips, 30% of all that. Oh crap, that's 40, 50,000. You know what I mean? That's what happened to me this year. So now I'm making sure you guys don't, fall into the same trap. So factoring everything, 30% cushion. I kind of already did that, right? When I was doing the numbers, we could get higher. We saw higher properties, right? But I kind of rolled it down. You know what I mean? So I think that we are already hedged. Now, if I wasn't hedged, I would try and match all the comps that I saw. I would try and go towards the 180. You know what I mean? The 180, 185. I mean, there were some comps that were small, much smaller than my property. They got a lot. It's not even my property yet. There were properties that were much smaller. They got a lot more. Like this is 1620. There's no reason why I shouldn't start at 190, right? I could probably start at 190 or list it at 180 because this is the exact same square feet that I have. Only thing it has is the central air unit, right? So maybe instead of starting at 200, if I start at 180, 185, 184.9, you know what I mean, 1,500, $15,000 more than where I'm at now, then I should be good. But I'm hedging myself. So that's where, you want to do the 10 to 30% cushion. I'm always super conservative on where the numbers are at. So maybe I'll hit maybe when I run the numbers I'm planning on getting a 169, not 169, right? But maybe I might put it on the market for 179, then drop it to 175, and then hit 169 and then leave it, right? And just to test the market, you know what I mean? And just kind of take it from there. So there's so many ways that you can play with that, but you always gonna give yourself some type of breathing room, right? And my breathing room is I'm conservative when I run the comps and try to figure out what the property is gonna sell for. Um, Next, once we know what the spread is, right? Like our spread right now, it's looking like it's at least 21,000, depending on how you want to play ball, right? Depending on how you want to play ball, to me, it's at least 21,000. And there are things here that you can do to make your numbers better, right? You can get the job done in 3 months versus 4. You can not go with the staging. You can find a company that charges you less points. I mean, there's a couple things in here that you can kind of do to differentiate and figure it out. You could bring more money to the table, right? You can, whatever the case may be, you could buy at a better price. There's points in here that you can change, that you could, dictate different things. So, there's that. So hard money, one of the deals that I just did, it was 65% LTV, meaning that that's the most that they will fund. So if we're at 169, 900 on the LTV, which is loan to value, based on the ARV. So loan to value is how much am I borrowing versus how much is it worth, and then the value is coming from the ARV, which is the after repair value. After I fixed it up, what is it going to be worth? So after I fixed it up, it's going to be worth 179,900. So they're only going to loan to 65% of that. So that's means $110,000, which is perfect for me because guess what? I'm only putting 110,000 into it. I'm buying it for 50, putting 60,000 in renovations in it. I'm all in at the number that they're willing to lend me. I strategically try and do that. Now that's you can't always do that, right? You can't always do that, but sometimes in my experiences, when you can't do that, you kind of already have an idea of like, all right, well, maybe I'm too high on this deal. This deal might not be as nice as I think it is, because the moment something goes wrong, your profit goes out the window. In this situation, there's a lot of room baked in for if errors were to pop up. Um, so that is what's going on. Front money. Let's talk about front money. No one ever wants to talk about front money. So a lot of these deals, a lot of these properties, right? Let me see. Let me do. Can I? How can I do this? What's the best way to do this? Can I just add a sheet? All right. Let's talk about the front money. Should have made this ahead of time. So let's say you got $60,000 in renovations. Your lender or hard money lender is not going to give you all 60,000. They're going to give you the 60,000 in phases, right? Right. So maybe phase one is 15,000, and then phase two is another, I don't know, let's say 25,000, and then phase three. Am I doing my math right? 5 is 30, 10, 40. Phase 3 is the finishing, so maybe that's the 20,000, right? And that's how you do it. So what happens is you got to pay first before they come out, right? Your lender, your lender is going to want to see the work completed. So phase one work. I think these fonts are ridiculously big. Let's try to make them smaller. All right, so phase one work. Before you get paid out. So now a lot of no one ever talks about this, and it blows my mind. But in order for you to get the payment for phase one, you should actually you well, not even should, you have to have the 15,000 in hand plus whatever your monthly payment is for what you're borrowing in order to even get to the next phase. So at settlement, you got to have the 15,000 ready in order to get reimbursed, right? So 15,000 gets paid out of your pocket first. You pay caps lock. You pay it first. Work is completed. Then you get paid, right? And that's how it works. So phase one, you have to pay to get that job done. And the easiest way to do this, and here's how I do this, is I make phase one the most expensive. I run this drum backwards like this. You know what I mean? Here's how I would run a project. Actually, no, maybe not even. I don't know how to do math. 15, 15. No, this would be 20. Right? This is what happens, right? So for me, phase one might only actually cost me 15,000, but I'll let my lender know, yo, I need 30,000. So I'll go in and do all the work on phase one, and I'll only pay 15,000 for it. So when they pay out the 30, boom, I'll get that money right there. Then the next phase, maybe not that drastic, maybe it's 20,000, and then the next one might be actual cost might actually only be 15,000, and then actual cost on this one might only be 8, right? So you know what I mean? That's kind of like how you kind of hedge yourself as well when you're doing these numbers, right? So let's say, you know what I mean? So This way you're not, when things come up, you don't look bad going back to your guy. You always want to hedge yourself as well. So now I hedge myself twice. One, I discount what I think the property is actually worth, and two, I overestimate on what the renovations are going to actually cost, right? In order for this to work, you have to have contractors that you already built a trust with, right? And the way you build that trust is you do multiple deals, right? So I think off the start, you want to have cash in the bank, and you got to be comfortable with what you got in the bank, comfortable with who you're working with, and then you kind of go with the motions one step at a time, one step at a time. This is why I think that one of the most important sections is this here, where you got the scope of work, right? But anyways, front money, you got the 25,000. I don't know why I put 25,000, but just whatever the case may be, you just gotta have, because that's typically what my starting front money is. I typically want to, I'll start a deal unless I got 20 or 25,000. I don't start my deals because I know that that's just what you got to have. But anyways, you get the property, phase one has to get paid out of pocket by you first, or your organization, your group, wherever the case may be, before the hard money lender sends someone out to do the appraisal, make sure all the line items associated to phase one are done before they'll actually pay you out what that phase one dollar amount work is. And one of the ways that I've learned to kind of finesse the system, right? And you can actually make money off the draws, right? So one of the things that I'm gonna start doing really heavily is I'm gonna focus on making money on the draws versus making money outside of the draws, right? Um, and the reason you would do that is because of the very first thing I put, what's there after the spread. Uncle Sam can't touch 30% if you're pulling it from a loan. Like in essence, this is a loan, right? They're not gonna tax you on a loan, but it's still income, right? So all this means is that when I go to sell it, I'll make a much much smaller dollar amount. Make a much much smaller dollar amount. This won't be here, right? This won't be as high. This might be only 15,000. Whatever the case may be. And my focus is making the money on the draws, right? You get what I'm trying to say? So there's that, right? Because if you think about it, if it only cost me 23,000 and I estimated 30, I made 7 grand. Then I made another three, and then I made another two. So that's 3, 7, 10, $12,000 that I pocketed. And then over here, we got this on top of it as well. So you can come out really well in the flip if you plan everything the right way. Um, but this is very important. You know what I mean? This is very important. A lot of people don't understand this, and then they get screwed because they don't got the money to start the work. But 9 times out of 10, the person that's going to lend you the money, they're going to want to see your financials before they lend to you. So you're gonna a lot of this is addressed prior to even going anywhere. So yeah, so front money and then closing costs. So closing costs, a lot of people don't understand that you gotta pay closing costs. So what is closing costs? Closing costs is the monies that you pay at the settlement table. So we're just gonna do a quick little brief look at everything here. So settlement date, let's say I go to settlement on the 18th of next month. Interest rate is 12. Nah, let's do some type of conventional. Interest rate is 10%. They're gonna try and do that. They're gonna try and amortize it, which is a little bit funky, but whatever, you'll see that I need in order to buy this property. Let's say I buy it at 50. Say I get it at 50,000. My closing costs are 5 grand. Cash, I need to bring 45, almost $4,500 in order to rock out over here. You know what I mean? So a lot of times what I might do is I might go 55, right? And I'll get assist. I'll get the assist. And I'll ask for 4 grand. Um, can I ask for assist? I'll ask for, sales assist, right? So now, well, maybe I'll do 53. I'll do 5,400, ask for it back. So now the cash that I need to bring is very tiny. So, um, that's one way to do it. That's one way I've done it. So it really makes it very ridiculously small how much I got to bring to the table. But the likelihood of that happening isn't always there, right? So we'll just do it zero. Make sure that I have the 4,500, maybe even 5 grand to be on the safe side, and then I book it, right? So that's another thing that most people don't take in factor. So now what does that mean? That means in my little situation, I gotta have the 5 grand. We'll just round it up to five. Plus, I gotta have the 23,000 that I know it's gonna cost me to do phase one. So 23 plus the five. It means in essence, unless I have $28,000 in the bank, I shouldn't pull the trigger on this deal, right? That's me knowing that phase one gotta get taken care of. I gotta get worst case scenario, I'm paying 100% of the closing costs. Those are the things that I gotta do. And then real quick, I might be responsible for UNO. Um, I don't know if it doesn't say. So I'm assuming that everyone shares UNO, but if it didn't share UNO, um, if I didn't share UNO and I had to pay for both sides, this would be 4.1. And that would just, now I'm at 56, almost, now it went up a little bit, right? Now I'm at 50, 56, 5,700 versus the 5 grand that I was at before. So little things like that, you just want to make sure you're keeping your eyes open for, you're looking, you're reading, you're understanding everything. And when you see that it's saying that you pay for 100% of transfer taxes, you negotiate and say, hey, no, I'm only paying for half, right? Because that's typically what it's done traditionally is that seller pays for half, buyer pays for half unless the deal is that lucrative. And for me, this deal, I fight tooth and nail to try and get as lucrative as I possibly can. And then luckily for this one, it looks like the seller is paying for half, so I'm in a good shape. So let's see, where else are we at with everything? So we did the front money, we just did the closing cost, scope of work, and project management. This right here is really the heartbeat of the whole thing. The money's going to come as long as the deal is there, and this is, if the spread is there, and the deal is going to be there because there's going to be a spread. So these first two things, as long as they exist, everything else is good. Where people drop the ball on is the scope of work and project management. So what I tell people to do in a sample scope of work is you just want to be very, very detailed with let me see what they got. What they got. And I don't want to, this is a horrible scope of work. These are horrible. So let's do something like, here's scope of work. So here's what I'm talking about. Here's what I like to see. And this is how I do my scopes of work. I give them line items. I mean, I just run with it. You know what I mean? Da 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 da. What percentage is complete? I mean, this is, and it doesn't even have to be this fancy. You guys know where to do this. Excel, Google, it's all free. You just kind of put it here, and you kind of wrap it up. What I don't like about this layout is it doesn't give you. This is for an apartment building. But what I would do is I would do something very simple, very straightforward. And let me see if I can kind of get one drafted for you guys real quick, though. Because I just don't want you guys to overthink it. Let me see if I can make one real quick. I probably can. So sample scope of work. And we'll go in detail. We'll go into so much detail. Sample SWOT. So, you might do something like address is this. We got kitchen. We got living area. Basement. And then in the basement, you got heating system. Water, And this would be, then you go into detail, what I do is I'll make these tabs shift over, so cabinets. I know that I can get, $2,500 for cabinets, um, and then granite. I know I could probably get like $2,000 for granite on that same 25, and then you got the sink, or maybe, or realistically, what I would do is maybe I'll do like $5 grand, and this will be, it should be maybe something like soft close plus granite plus sink. And everything is material and labor. Like like I never separate any of the two, and I don't do that. Um, so maybe there's lighting works. You know what I mean? So maybe or maybe the electrical work. Maybe electrical work is $2,000. And it could be something like new ceiling plus recessed. And then you could do something like under cabinet lighting, something like that. And then you could do plus, add line. Disposal, you know what I mean? And then, appliances. I do all my things scratch and dent, so 2100 is a good number. Actually, 2500 is a good number that I get, so that's fridge with water line. I love the water line, dishwasher. Um, Oven, overhead microwave. Living room, new floors. So, move them over here again. New floors. Oh, I forgot to tile the floors over here. Flooring, so flooring's typically cheap. So maybe that's probably too high actually. Appliances are probably too high, random amount of 2,000. So the tile, level floor. Level flooring, always, plus grout, tile, plus, backsplash. New flooring, hard floor, so maybe $15,000 hard floor. Floor plus. Then we might do, copy this line, copy this whole line here, because we're doing the same thing with the electrical, except we're not adding a line for the garbage disposal. New sink plus LED lights. Dining room might be the same thing. Actually, I don't even really believe in dining rooms. Let's just get that out of here. The basement, get that swiveled over. Heating system, if it's a radiator system, I know a really decent radiator system is going to cost me $3,000, and that's buying it and installing it. Maybe I budget 35 to be on the safe side. But maybe there are radiators that are busted or something like that. So to be on the safe side, I'll budget 4,500 for this. Um, Alright, so there's my heating system, water heater, dirt cheap, you know what I mean? $800 is to, install. I would do electric water heater. There's no vent on that one, so I forgot to add the vent on this one. I think we do a 60-gallon. Here we'll do paint coverage. I never used to put this in there, then I got burned, so flue and chimney. Anytime you got a vent, you want to check the flue plus the chimney. Make sure all that's addressed. The service call might be, this is cheap, so let's say 250 is just service. And this is like a very rushed, but it gives you an idea of what the scope of work is and how things are lining up. We would make this bold, make this bold, make this bold. Update electrical. And we put electrical down here as well. Maybe $4,000. Electrical. Wires, running wires. So it might be something like that, and you have project total. You'll have a running project total, which is going to be the sum of whatever the hell it is that you put here all the way down. So right now we're at $37,000. We got more to do, so now we might go to the exterior. Exterior. So, yep, good. So all this is gonna go over. So roof, you know what I mean? I'm really getting into this. So roof, you know what I mean? You probably got a new roof for like $6,000. Maybe $5,000, I'm not too sure. I always touch the roof up. Whatever it doesn't need to be touched, I'm either silver coating it, touching it up, new flashings, everything. Just because the roof sucks, man. You don't want everyone to have any. All this stuff you just want to get taken care of, get it out the way. Windows are super expensive. Windows are about 300, a pop each window. So average house is gonna have, you got maybe 3 kitchens and 3 windows in the kitchen, 2 in the dining room, 3 in the living room. Then you got 3 bedrooms, so it's at least 3 in each window, maybe 2 in each window. So 2 times, we got 8. This is a 4 bedroom, so you got 8 windows there, plus the 8 on the first floor. That's 16. Maybe you got a bathroom. Bathroom has another window, that's 17. So I would probably just do 300 times 20, be on the safe side. I got $6,000 in windows, maybe $5,000. Only windows. Only windows throughout, right? So now we're at 47. Doors, doors are expensive. So front and back, I typically try and get a nice exterior front, get a nice exterior back, put some color into it. So, it might be something that comes in at 750. Siding, siding might be something that maybe it's brick, you know, so siding or um, parging, whichever one. So maybe this might come in at, I don't know, 2,500, maybe even 3,500, you know, as needed. Um, and we'll do bedrooms. So now you do bedrooms. Do more on the electrical. So maybe you start with permits, you know what I mean? Start with that. It might be something that runs you maybe $100, I don't know. Maybe bugging down there, man. So might even be more than that actually. So we'll just do 3,000 maybe. So, and I don't get fancy floors though, so that's probably really high. So we could do 12 on that. Permits are probably, no, probably that. Electrical too. This electrical is probably high because, you know, we're doing electrical down here as well, so probably put that at 1,000. Just because we're also doing electrical here. Roof is 5, windows is 5. Probably, and you probably don't always need new windows. Siding and parging, you know what I mean, that's probably where it's at. Bedrooms, you know, carpet, so, you know, we're going to do, push this over here, make it bald. Here we're going to do carpet. Entire first floor might be maybe $2,000. Going through these numbers and I'm like, yeah, it's not gonna cost that much, dude. Just for the first floor, it shouldn't cost more than 10 grand. And the electrical, this is, you know, we're double dipping into electrical too many times. That should be only be 1,000 because we're, you know, we're already doing electrical. That, you know, that's a lot. That should be able to cover it, you know. So we'll just do 4,000 because. Paint. So paint whole house might be something that comes to that 3,500. Right, so ceiling is typically white, then the walls are probably some type of gray, and then the trim is going to come out and be white again. So you got that. What else am I missing? You know, doors and hardware. You know, all new doors. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 doors. You know, maybe, you know, doorknobs and everything like that. So interior doors are cheap. You know, maybe $100 a door, and then maybe all the mechanicals, the doorknobs, the closet hangers, the hooks, all that stuff could probably come in at like $100. So we got 600 tops for everything, like, you know what I mean, doors. Interior doors plus hardware plus, you know, hooks plus door stoppers. All these little things that you don't even think about, you know what I mean? Um, so maybe bathroom. Bathrooms, if they're gutted and everything like that, so it probably only costs like 2,500 to get it beautified and everything like that. Um, we already got the material and everything. It's not much more labor. It's mainly just labor. But if we're just tiling the floors and then we're doing the grout around the bathtub, running into the ceiling, um, oh, in the basement, I forgot to add plumbing. So I might come in at 2,000. Copper. And plumbing might be a little bit more simply because you got radiators, so maybe we might go up to 3. Um, I'm really nervous on the electrical because I think it's really high. $6,000 for electrical. Yeah, it just seems high to me, dude. It is high. Because I know you can get a new box for like $900, right? And someone will put it in for like 17. So the roof, I know the roof isn't going to cost that much because if the roof is caving in, then maybe. But I don't think that the roof is going to cost that entirely that much. So maybe we do 35 on the roof. And windows, windows is never going to be a situation where you need all new windows. Carpet, yeah, Home Depot is good for that number. Doors, paint. Probably get the paint talked down a little bit more, but permits, yeah, I don't, that's a big question mark. So this is my little scope of work. You know what I mean? Oops, I'm doing this wrong. I'm making them cool. Bathroom. So hardware is what I call. Sorry. Hardware is like what I call like the vanity, the shower handles, the diverters, like all these things are what I call hardware. So vanity could be, you know, so we got the vanity is 250, right? Plus diverter and everything like that, it's maybe 125. Maybe get something fancy, maybe 150. Toilet, $150. Doesn't even have to be. The sconces, maybe you got the sconces. Sconces get something nice for like $100. What else? What else? What else? What else? Oh, you got to get the little kits that you hang the towel, the thing for the towel to get hung in, the paper towel holder, all that stuff. That probably can come in at 75. What else am I missing? Um, I think that's it. You got the vent up. You got the vent. We already got 500 for the vent. Not that it costs that much, but just to be on the safe side, you want to get a good one. 250, 150, 150, 100 plus 75. So we got 750 for hardware. That should cover everything. Um, and then that's kind of where we at. So everything here is looking like where's it paint? So when I do painting, my painters go in and they also um, treat the walls. That's prep. They prep. I mean, they skim coat it or whatever, sand it, whatever. They do everything they can to get it ready before they paint, and then they paint. So they get smooth surfaces, get all the imperfections out the walls, and then they go to work. So this is about this is what I would have in mind going forward, right? And the permits would only get pulled for the electrical, the plumbing. If we're adding a new bathroom, I don't think we're adding a bathroom here. Um, Looks like we're under budget, and I think we want to probably add bath, hot powder room. So that might be additional $2,000. And the plumbing, we'll bump it up, make it 4,000. Then electrical's already at 4,000. It keeps bugging me. Electrical. I think $4,000 is. That should be probably like 400. Go up the electrical to 3,000. So this is like a rough, rough little idea that you have for yourself. So when you go in, you kind of just, you have this in hand so that as different contractors come in and give you different things, you can kind of just check them. You can just price check them and say, okay, cool. Well, how much would it cost for your tile bathroom? And they say $8,000. You can be like, all right, well, you could just leave right now, man. This ain't the project for you. But if they say 22 for tile, your tile bathroom, that's different. That's not bad. You know what I mean? And some people like they'll give you a flat rate, like you know what, look, my labor is $1,500. Anything you want to buy material you want me to do, I'll do it. Just know that I need $1,500 to go in and come out with the bathroom finish. That's even better. So now your variables becomes your material, and a lot of times that's typically the case. So this is kind of like what I have, so that in my mind, when I'm going in through the rooms in the kitchens, I know what I want. Da 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 da. In the living room, okay, cool. I know we're doing this. Da 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 da. You know what I mean? And for electrical, we're doing at least 4 outlets in every room, outlet in every wall. It's not non-negotiable. Um, and you just kind of take it from there. To tile the floor is not $2,000, dude. To tile the floors might be 1,500, might even be 1,000. You know. And you keep going over this, and you do a lot of what I did, where you're like, yeah, it's not gonna cost that much, or oh, this actually might cost more, and you just keep touching it up, until and you compare and contrast what you have with the quotes from other contractors, and you kind of you build what you got going on until you're comfortable with it. And it's gonna come to a point where like this becomes your manual, right? You go in and as people start throwing you numbers, you're like, no, it's not. That should probably come in closer to X, Y, and Z. Like for me, I know if someone gives me a quote like, "Oh, it's gonna cost that," I don't know off the bat if that's a good quote or a bad quote, right? Because I already know what it's gonna cost. I've done flips, I've done renovations. I have an idea like, all right, yeah, that sounds about right. And when it doesn't sound right, you'll know immediately. So you have this, and then you make sure that when I hand this over to the contractors, all this is deleted. So this whole column gets deleted, right? And I let it be known. I'm more detailed in these things. All my things run a lot longer. Um, I'm very detailed in these things, but I won't give them. I'll let it be blank, right? And keep in mind, I just built this to show y'all what it looks like. I want you to actually get one flushed out a little bit more better than what I have here, but this is just an idea of what it is. And it's definitely recommended, highly recommended. Make sure you have it, and you kind of take it from there. You know, some people get really anal. They know what type of paint color they want, the tile, all that. Too anal for me, but it definitely works, makes things a lot easier. And then what you do with this is how you stay on top of them, right? Which is, break it down into phases, right? What is phase one part of? What is phase two part of? What is phase three part of? And when you have it broken down like this, it's just a matter of saying, well, we're going to do all the work in the basement is phase one, which I highly support because that's just what you gotta, all that stuff got to get run anyways. So maybe all the basement stuff is phase one. Then phase two might be exterior kitchen and living room, right? And then phase three might be, bedrooms and adding the phase two, three might be just the bedrooms. You know what I mean? Bedrooms and adding the finishing touches on the exterior. Then you bounce out of there, and then you let the contractor tell you, oh look, it's gonna take me 2 weeks to do phase one, and then it might take me a week to do phase. 2 weeks to do phase two, and then it might take me another 2 weeks to do phase three. So we're looking at a month and a half on the project. I just said, okay, cool. You got 2 months, right? You got 2 months to get the job done, and you guys are both on the same page with that. And I want to make sure that you also have very detailed invoices and receipts. So if you guys saw this, I mean, this is like to the point of this is how you got to keep it. You know what I mean? This is how you gotta keep the ball or keep the ship. This is how tight you gotta keep the ship. You guys are seeing everything that, as they're happening real time. I think my last payment was not too long ago. What was it? $21,000, April 25th. Yeah, I paid that not too long ago. $21,724. Um, Whatever the case may be. So you just got to make sure that all of that stuff is tight. You have the receipts. A lot of times I screw up. I don't have the receipts as you have it. You take a picture of it and then you just match it up to what's going on here. You know what I mean? Is that for the basement? So is that heater for the basement, or if it's plumbing, you say, okay, cool, this is plumbing for the basement, and you write it on the receipt, take a picture of it, and you keep it moving so you always have a track of everything, and you just kind of take it from there. So you want to make sure that that's very tight. And then bonuses. So if they say, okay, cool, look, we can keep this done in, first of all, let them know that and functionality will always be number one, and they lose if that basic necessity doesn't work. Quality is like, how does it look? Does it work? Is it good? And then functionality makes it is just it gotta work. If it doesn't work, then it defeats the purpose. So looking good and making sure it works is always the premise. We're talking about the bonuses now. Then the bonuses is to say, hey, look, if your team gets this job done in 30 days, there's $1,000 bonus, right? Or, you know what I mean? Whatever the case may be, there's $1,000 bonus for each one of your crew members, or whatever the case may be. Now, on your end, you got to be smart and figure out what this being ahead of time 30 days mean to you, right? If it means nothing, keep your mouth shut. Just keep it from there. And then on the flip side, you got to have repercussions to say, look, if y'all don't hit deadlines, here's what's going to happen. And I don't like to punish them as far as like not paying them. I like to punish them and say, well, look, instead of getting paid for phase one payment is going to be due in phase two. That's very motivational because you got to think about it. If they were supposed to touch $23,000 in phase one, now they're not touching it till phase two is done. So that's 23 plus 17. That's $40,000 that at least $23,000 that you don't have to come out of pocket for now, right? So now you're reimbursed from the phase. I love doing that because that means for me, I don't got to come out of pocket yet. My money stays in the bank, the work is done, right? And then, we kind of take it from there. Now, of course, I'm never going to be that sinister where I don't pay the 23, but I might only pay half of it. You get half of your payout, right? And then the other half gets paid when the work is done. Contractors hate that. They fucking hate that. They want to get paid immediately once it's done. So when I'm saying, look, if the work isn't done on time to the expectations and things like that, then look, you're only going to get paid half of what you're going to get paid, and then everything else is going to get done till after the project is 100% completed. They hate that. So that's just a trick that I've learned to use. I will never hold 100% of someone's pay. I might even say, look, if it's 23, you're only gonna get paid out 75%. So I might give them 17 and keep the 5 on my end, and that works for my favor because that puts me in a better position for phase two. So that's what I do. I always make sure to get paid. I don't take any pay from them, but I might take away exactly when they get paid. So that way, for me as the money man, it it limits the burden that I have to as far as like cash outflow, right? And that'll help me get to the finish line with, more sleeps at night, no restless nights, no things like that. And it also will motivate your team. So instead of them coming in and working a 9 to 3 or whatever the case may be, these mother effers come in and they work a 9 to 7, 9 to 8 because they know that you're good for the money. And that's been, that'll help your project go a lot quicker. You know what I mean? So, all right, I done talked a lot. We done covered a lot. It always blows my mind how much stuff I cover, and I only have like one or 2 or 3 slides. One of them is just an intro. But as always, I really appreciate you guys always watching. Really appreciate the support. Keep calling me, keep emailing me. Keep emailing me. Keep commenting on YouTube. All this stuff is greatly appreciated. It's motivational. It keeps me going because a lot of times I'll do these videos and, unless I hear something from someone, I'm assuming no one's watched it. So here's all my contact information. I also have an email at ugotheagent@gmail.com if that works for you as well. Get at me however way you can possibly get at me. I'm here to help you guys out in any way as I possibly can. And I would love to list your property when you put it on the market. You know what I mean? I would love to, get that taken care of for you. That's what I do. I'm a real estate agent, running all over Philadelphia, Chester, Delaware, Montgomery County. About to get licensed in New Jersey. About to get licensed in Delaware. Triple threat. So yeah, but anyways, I'm gonna check out. I got a little date with my girlfriend, so watch. Let me know what you guys think, and drop questions. Email me. Let me know what you guys want the next video to be. This was something that continuously came up, and so many people kept pushing it. So here you guys are, inglorious details. This is an hour and almost 20 minutes of just me talking about how to analyze a deal, going in from hard money. What the scope of work looks like, how to run the numbers backwards. A lot of good information that I wish I would have known. I make these videos from a standpoint like, man, older Ugo looking out for what I could have wish I would have told my younger Ugo self, right? I would be 10 times as rich as I was. I'd be 10 times richer now than I am a little bit later. And also, a lot of people keep wanting to hang out with me for the sheriff sales. The next sheriff sale is coming up. I'm absolutely going to do that. If you want to hang out with me for an entire day, see how I prep, I think I already showed you guys how I prep, but if you want to do like a hands-on, like you're in the car with me and we're driving and you're asking me questions and we're really in the mix of it, and then I go to the sheriff's cell with you and help you bid on the properties, that's going to cost you. I haven't come up with a price yet, but it's going to cost you. If you're someone that's out of state, I think that's a very uh, that's a good move for you to take if you're someone that's out of state. Um, just to get your feet wet. If you're someone new and you haven't done it, then I'm definitely going to make it a lot cheaper than what a lot of these gurus are charging. But just something I'm thinking about, and I think based on the feedback from the community, I think that's a route that I got to go, just so y'all have that information and hands-on experience on it. But anyways, I'm tired of talking. I'm gonna check out, and I'll touch base with you guys in the next video. I try to do these things weekly, but then my life gets so hectic that I might skip a week. So I apologize if I skip a week, and I'm gonna get right back on top of it. All right, thanks.